Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the Simply Cheerful Trivet. This is a really fun and super easy project that you can do and really play around with the colors. It's completed in just 4 rounds and I used a lot of fun and bright colors. You can also turn this project into a coaster. This makes kind of a large coaster, and I've seen a few people on Ravelry use this pattern to make a set of 6. One person used some variegated dishcloth yarn and made some really beautiful coasters with it as well. So for this project, you'll need a 5mm H crochet hook. You'll need a tapestry needle, a pair of scissors, and some cotton dishcloth yarn. I used just some things I had on hand. This is a hot pink and kind of a gold color, a salmon, and a really bright green. So just whatever you have on hand and what really kind of works together and speaks to you and matches what you have in mind. So let's get started. The finished trivet measures about 5 inches across. So what we're going to do, I made one where I began with the pink and kind of radiated outward into like a rainbowy kind of gradient color. But we're going to kind of do the reverse of that. Partially because I'm kind of curious to see how the colors look in reverse. So instead of starting with the bright pink and working outward, we're going to start with the green. And what I like to do when I'm doing multicolor projects like this is lay out the colors in the order in which I'll be doing them. And that kind of helps me keep everything organized. So we're going to slide this over here for now, and we're going to begin with the green. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be working in the round. I'm just going to get a little bit of yarn in my hook. We are going to begin by putting a slip knot on our hook first. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the yarn behind that loop, reach in with your hook, bring up a loop and tighten. Next, we're going to chain 6. So to make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in the chain farthest from our hook, all the way back here, we're going to join with a slip stitch to create a ring. So insert into the chain, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. And then you can kind of open that ring up a little bit. We also have a tail. We'll hold the tail along the edge as we work, and that will weave that in as we go along. So let's begin round 1. We're going to start by working a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as one of our double crochets. So next we'll be working 11 double crochets into the center of the ring. So if you look back here, we'll have 12 wheel spokes total, because remember, this counts as one of our double crochets. So to make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it into the center of the ring, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops on your hook, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops on your hook. So that's 1, then 2, then 3, again we're holding this tail along the edge, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now we're going to be switching colors, but if you want to stick with the same color, I'll show you how to do that as well. So to join our round, you want to count 3 chains up, and then you're going to insert your hook, join with a slip stitch to close the round. And then what you can do is flip this over, and this tail that we wove in, just pull that really tight. I like to trim as I go because it keeps things nice and neat, but you can do it at the end as well. It's totally up to you. Okay, so our round 1 is complete, and it'll just look like a little small disc at this point. Okay, so then what we want to do is, if you want to stick with the same color, I saw a couple of you on Ravelry did solid colors and they looked very pretty. You just want to go into that first space and work a slip stitch, and then you're ready to begin round 2. But I'm going to switch colors, so let me just back up a little bit. Okay, so that's where we left off. So I'm just going to take my scissors and cut the yarn and fasten off. And now I'm ready to begin the next color, the next round 2 in my next color. So in order of which I laid them out, our next color is this gold color. And obviously you can use any colors you like for your project. So what we're going to do is this pattern, we work in the spaces. We're not going to be working in the stitches. And the difference, if you're not familiar with that, at the tops of these double crochets we just worked, you'll see a little loop at the top. That's the stitch. But in between the posts, see how when I open it up, you can see there's a little loop at the top right here? That's the stitch. But the space down here in between that V, right in between there, that's the space. We're going to be working into the spaces. So what you'll want to do is insert your hook into the space and bring the new yarn through and then just tie it right on. Now you notice we left off back here and I'm tying it on up here. That's totally fine. You can tie it in any space you like. And actually I like to tie mine not right next to each other because I weave my ends in as I go along and it keeps it from getting too lumpy and bulky. So really you can tie it in anywhere you like. Okay, so again, I'm going to weave these ends in as we go along. So for round 2, what you want to do is reinsert your hook back in there, bring up a loop. So you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so next, right in that same space, you're going to work a double crochet stitch. So right in that same space, work a double crochet. So it'll look kind of like that. Hop over to the next space. This is the area in between the double crochets from the previous row. You're going to work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Hop over to the next space and we're going to do the same thing, 2 double crochet. So we're going to be doing this all the way around our circle. 2 double crochet in each space in between these double crochets from the previous row. And again, I'm just holding my tail along the edge as I work. That will save you lots of time at the end of your project because all the little ends will be woven in. That's especially important when you're working lots of colors like we're doing with this project. Okay, so I've woven that tail in sufficiently, so I'm just going to drop it for now. So I'm just working 2 double crochets all the way around in all these spaces, all the way around our circle. Okay, I've come to the next tail, so I'm also going to hold that along the edge and incorporate that one as well. Okay, I'm going to keep going with my 2 double crochets in each space. And when I get towards the end of this round, we'll rejoin and I'll show you how to finish off this round and how to begin the next round. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the end of round 2, just working 2 double crochets in each space. So here I am at the last space. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same thing, count 3 chains up where we began this round, and join with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so round 2 is complete and it'll look kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut my yarn. And again, if you want to stick with the same color, just slip stitch over to that first space like we did before. Okay, so just fasten that off. Now we can put this color back and grab our next color. We're ready to begin round 3. So let's grab some of this really pretty salmon color. Okay, then what we can do is these 2 ends we wove in as we went along, so we can go ahead and trim those and then put those aside. Okay, so we're going to be working in between the double crochets once again. So what we're going to do is insert the hook into any of the spaces, doesn't matter which, bring the new yarn through and just tie it right on. Right into any of those spaces. Okay, now we're going to hold that tail along the edges we work again, reinsert the hook where we just tied it on, and this time we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Previously we've done a chain 3. We're doing a chain 4 because it counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. We're going to be working double crochet, chain 1 in the spaces all the way around. So we need this first starting chain to be counting as a double crochet and the chain 1. So that's why there's an extra chain. Instead of 3, we're doing 4. Okay, so in the next space, we're holding this tail along the edge again. So in the next space, work a double crochet chain 1. Next space, double crochet, chain 1. Next space, double crochet, chain 1. Next space, double crochet, chain 1. Okay, we're just going to continue all the way around our circle. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. I'm going to continue all the way around. You can see what we have so far. It's a little bit more meshy than the other round that we just did. But I'm going to continue all the way around the circle, and again we'll rejoin towards the end and I'll show you how to finish it off and how to do the final round in our hot pink. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the very last double crochet to work. So double crochet, chain 1. Now we're at the beginning, so you can count 3 chains up, join with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so round 3 is complete. Your piece should look something like this. So then what we're going to do is cut the yarn again because we're going to switch to the hot pink. And again, if you want to keep the same color, just slip stitch into the next space you come to, and then you can keep going. Okay, I just fastened off, and then we're going to, I'm going to snip these off really quick just to get them out of the way. One time I was working on a piece and I had a bunch of tails and I ended up crocheting them in, just not inadvertently crocheted them in and made a total mess. So I guess I like to just get them out of the way so I don't accidentally put them in the wrong spot. So anyway, we have just a tail here and we'll work that into the next round. Okay, so let's begin round 4. I'm going to put this back. Okay, so we have our hot pink yarn. This is really going to frame it in nicely, just like this green frames that in really nicely. And you can see the reverse already looks really neat side by side. Okay, so round 4, we're going to insert the hook into any of these spaces, doesn't matter which. Bring the new yarn through, whoops, and just tie it right on. Okay, so for this round, what we're going to do, again, I'm holding my tail along the edge, insert your hook and bring up a loop. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in that same space, we're going to work another double crochet. Oops, my tail got a little bit caught up there. I'm just going to back up. Okay, so right in the same space, work another double crochet. Just like that. Okay, now hop over to the next space, still holding the tails as you work, and work 2 double crochets in the next space. 1 and 2. Work 2 double crochets in the space after that. This round is very similar to round 2, in case it looks a little bit familiar as I'm working around here. Okay, 2 double crochet into the next space. And then we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. 2 double crochets in each space all the way around. Okay, I'm going to keep working my 2 double crochets in each space, and then once again we'll rejoin towards the end of the round. So you can already see how pretty this color scheme is turning out, the reverse of the one we have over here. Okay, so I'm going to keep going and we'll rejoin in just a moment towards the end of this round as well, and then we'll be able to finish off our trivet. Okay, so we're just coming up to that last space, so we're going to work 2 double crochets in that very last space. 1 and 2. And then we're just going to join with a slip stitch in that 3rd chain up, same thing we've done in previous rounds. So just join with a slip stitch to close the round, and then we can take our scissors and cut the yarn and fasten off. Now if you wove your ends in as you went along, you'll only have one little tail at the end. So just flip your piece over to the back side, thread your tapestry needle, and then when you're working multicolor projects like this, you'll want to weave, see my tail is hot pink. So I'm going to weave this hot pink tail into the hot pink section only. If I try to go into some of these other color sections, it's going to show and it's not going to look as nice. So we're going to come in one direction like this and then go through in the other direction. Okay, and then just come in the other direction. And then you can take your scissors and just snip that off. And your little trivet is complete. And it looks very, very pretty. And at the beginning of this tutorial, I hadn't seen it in the reverse of this one. So I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. So it's really, really fun to just grab a whole bunch of cotton yarn and just have a really fun time exploring different color combinations and see how different colors work together. And that's it. That's how you crochet the Simply Cheerful Trivets. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.